Good morning, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, and welcome to this week's Weekly Energy Boost. My name is Elisheva, and today I have the honor of being in the same room with Eitan so we can share with you the secrets, really the power behind spoken word, and how we're inadvertently interfering with our path to blessings in the way we speak, the way we think about speaking, and some tools to help us redirect our energy in a more fruitful and constructive way, not only this week, but hopefully to develop those habits for life. Weekly Energy Boost is a 7-day spiritual weather forecast where we provide our listeners with the most practical and powerful tools to navigate the coming 7 days. We do that by gleaning through the wisdom of Kabbalah and extracting wisdom and tools that will not only support you in tackling challenges and extracting gifts this week, but really any week of your life, any year of your life, any week of the year. And this week happens to have a few different influences that really awaken us from the inside out to be more reflective about how we use our words in our daily interactions, whether consciously or unconsciously. And we're here to unpack that and offer at least a different perspective to help you use your words differently. So because we also have, at the end of this week, the new moon of Taurus, the new moon of Iyar, we have an additional kind of burst of energy coming at the end of the week that can support us to do that work as well. So Eitan, where should we begin?
I think the first question we would like to ask ourselves, when we speak poorly or speak bad about other people, we call it evil tongue, or misusing our words, why are we doing it? Those of us who are in the spiritual path, we heard many times, speaking bad about other people, it's a negative thing. A little gossip, a little negativity, enjoying listening some negative stuff about other people. Why we still engaging in? And why the Zohar speaks so strongly about the power of words and the negative effect of speaking, misusing the power of words. And another question, what is the positive benefits of using words in a powerful, positive way? So let's first ask them why. Why it's so powerful. Why words is so powerful. Powerful in a positive way and powerful in a negative way.
Meaning spoken words versus thinking thoughts, even writing isn't as powerful as the spoken word, right?
Exactly. I would say when you manifest words into writing or publish it or writing, it's already manifested words. So
Like manifested speech?
in a way, yes, because as long as it's thoughts, it's one level of energy. When you manifest the thoughts either into physical writing it or saying it, I think it's already become power of words.
Got it.
So I think the introduction for that, for the power of words, we need to understand the struggle that all of us have in this world. Kabbalistically, there are 10 levels of consciousness. And there's a big difference between the upper 9 level and the lower 10th level. The upper 9 level, if we will be able to align ourselves and feel these dimensions of seeing life and feeling life, we will feel blessed, abundance, fulfilled. And if we see and experience life via the lower 10th level, we will feel lack. Something is missing. Something is wrong. I'm lacking. Things are not perfect. Things are not aligned. I need to fix what's going on. So there's the lower level, which most of the day we live in that world, is the realm of lack and disconnected from ease and fulfillment and inner peace and inner joy. It's like something is ringing. Even though you thought, now when I closed that deal, or when I had amazing conversation with someone, and you feel a boost of energy, again lack, again something is missing, again void, again insecurity. So that's the 10th dimension. So, and we know Kabbalistically, all our purpose is daily, in every test that we have during the course of the day, attach yourself to the realm of abundance, the realm of fulfillment. Every time you're appreciative, you're actually shifting your mindset. I'm lacking to I'm blessed. So every time you're selfish, every time we are selfish, we attach ourselves, I'm lacking, because this is the lower dimension. So even though you create a fix to your activity, but we dig a deeper hole, I'm lacking. And that brings us to the difference between thoughts and words, which I would like to ask you. So what's the difference? Because thoughts are the first step that cause us either to connect to realm of abundance, I'm blessed, or I'm lucky.
It's interesting because I think the explanation also is the opposite of what we would think, right? If I'm busy all day long thinking fearful, worried thoughts, obviously it's not the best for me. It's not the most positive, but in that when, as long as it stays confined within me, the Kabbalists explain that it has a lower level of influence. Yes, it might make me in a bad mood and make me make reactive decisions, but the moment it becomes spoken, I'm talking about my terrible boss or the government or someone in my family, or I'm complaining or, worrying. We often vent to people that are close to us about something bad that happened to us or someone that did something to us. The moment it goes from the level of thoughts to the level of words, we cement our attachment to the lack. In a way, it's almost like if you're thinking about it, it's potential. Once you speak about it, you bring it into the actual, and it becomes much more difficult to interrupt or to stop that lack, that state of lack, or I often think it comes from when we're worried and we talk about, what if this would happen? What if that would happen? Or I can't believe I'm so stupid, or I'm so needy or desperate. We bring those words out of our inner world and we bring it to the outer world. And it's almost like the words themselves create a momentum that helps that reality manifest. Like the universe says, really? I'll show you what that looks like. Really? That's what you think? I'll prove that you're right. And it becomes this, it's almost like we create a force that operates against us because it's not what we really want. We're not talking about it because we want it. We're talking about it because we don't want it. And in that process, we give it life.
So it's interesting. We fear lack. We don't lack. We want abundance. We want fulfillment. But at the moment we fear lack and we're speaking from place of lack, think about complaining. Let's speak about complaining for a second. When I'm complaining, I hope that the attention and the energy that I'm getting through complaining will make me feel better. But where am I coming from? I'm coming from thoughts and mindset of lack. When accompanied with words, as you say, I manifest that lack. And even though, because that's the job of the opponent, I'm getting temporary rush of stimulation from complaining, because I'm feeling elevated for a second. That's the power of the reactive nature. I'm getting temporary stimulation. Actually, as you said, it's cementing that consciousness of lack. Then I'm creating a reality of disconnection from blessing, and I'm vulnerable for negativity in my life.
It's funny because my daughter had a few friends over and they were drawing. And one of the little girls kept saying, "Oh, mine's so terrible. I'm the worst artist." And she kept kind of fishing. We would say she's fishing for compliments. She wants somebody to say, "No, yours is beautiful. No, yours is so pretty. I love what you did." But it's, you can look at it on a young child and think like, "Oh, it's so cute," or you want to run and help her feel better. But we continue that pattern as we get older. When we're feeling lonely, we know who to call, who's going to tell us, "No, we're beautiful. We're going to find someone not to work." But in the process of putting ourselves down, it's another form of complaining. And we attach ourselves to the reality where, I was thinking, what if she grows up to be an artist and she stays stuck because all she does is say what a terrible, it's not humility, right? Some people might say, "Oh, she's not being humble." She's actually taking the lack and the limitation and breathing life into it. And so I think that part of the opportunity this week comes in a way that we can shine a light on those processes and those how. I mean, for sure, after listening to us, you're going to now turn on the news and you're going to hear on the radio and different people talking the way almost all media is based on speaking badly, right? Even the news, they're going to present you with the worst case projection to get you to tune in tomorrow to see if it happened, and how that just perpetuates the darkness, the lack, the worry, the fear, that's the energy that we're all walking through, as you said, in that 10th dimension.
Exactly. It's interesting. The Torah tells us for some reason that in this portion, that speaking bad about other people cause skin disease. So you need to understand what's the connection between the two. And we know that when we are talking bad about someone, are we actually connecting to their inside, to their soul, to their true essence? No. We are connecting to the external, the skin, the outer part of that individual. What's lacking? And that's a choice. So it's not just I'm coming from lack because I want to feel better about myself, either consciously or unconsciously. I'm actually searching and attaching myself to the lack of the other person. So really, by me speaking bad about someone else, I'm connecting to the external part, the limited part, the finite part, the lacking part, and I'm attracting that karma of that person into my own life. Because what you attach yourself to, that's what you will be affected by. Even though initially it comes with a temporary rush, and that's the source of all tests. We're getting some energy, we're getting some sugar. But is it really worth it? It's a test for all of us. One of the greatest Kabbalists, Rabbi Moshe Chaim Luzzatto, says that everybody is failing in this test. Some more, some less. Some people with the dust, he says, of evil tongue, speaking bad about other people. But I think one of the main lessons I got from the Rav Berg about speaking bad, it's not just, it's not nice to speak bad about people, it's not spiritual, it's not ethical. Ask yourself a question. Do you want most of the day to be attached to the world of abundance and fulfillment, where source of all creative thinking, blessings come from? Or do you want to connect with to the realm of lack, of void, of insecurity that just attract more and more negativity? Is it worth it actually to attach yourself? We're enough affected by the realm of lack. Do you want to attach yourself even more, to block yourself from your potential? What is the realm of abundance? What is these 9 levels? They're not up in the atmosphere. They are within us. It's the true self that wants to reveal itself through me, through my mind, through my words, is blocked when I'm misusing words. Which lead us now to the power of prayer and the power of positive words, if you can shed some light.
It's so interesting. As you were talking, I was thinking about this idea, and we spoke about it before, that the same tool that we can use, words, to attach ourselves, the tool of words that we can use to attach ourselves to a reality of lack, the same language is meant to be a tool that can connect us to the infinite, right? That there are prayers, meditations, mantras that we use to help us access limitless blessing, limitless growth. There's a joke that when someone speaks rudely, like, let's say in the generations before us, they would say to the person, "You kiss your mother with that mouth," right? I always say to my kids, "Do you pray to God with that mouth?" Because the reality is, our mouth, our words are an instrument. I wouldn't even call it a weapon. It's an instrument that exists for the sake of attaching us to blessing and fulfillment and limitlessness. And we got confused somewhere along the way, and instead we're using it unknowingly to create blockages between us and that energy. So when the Kabbalists talk about prayer or using our words to connect to the light of the Creator, we're also meant to use the words between us as connection to the light of the Creator. It's not only the prayer books or when you're in a house of worship or when you're in a divine space and you feel connected or you're speaking even spiritual concepts. It's meant to be how we use all of our words. And so part of I think what I was thinking about while you were speaking is that in this week's portion, there's also the idea that we represent the vessel, we're each meant to be houses or containers for the light of the Creator. And the light of the Creator can only reveal itself where there is a vessel for it. It's everywhere. It's the same way, electricity is running throughout your home, but in order for you to access it, you have to use an appliance or a lamp, something. You have to plug something in order to give that electricity a vessel to express itself. We are the appliances of the light of the Creator. And there's a section that in the Zohar that says that when the desire for greater light comes from us, the path is blessed. When the light of the Creator has to awaken us, it comes with, the light can still be revealed, but it comes with greater resistance, greater effort. And I always think about that in terms of this connection to words, that we encounter many people who are genuinely, good-hearted people, desiring to fulfill their soul's purpose, to do their work, to influence others for good. And that's their main desire, but they allow themselves to misuse words, which ends up becoming a stumbling block. And it goes back to the first thing you said. Why is it such a challenge for us? Why do we allow ourselves to take the cheap thrill of taking the hit from the gossip or putting someone down or making them look bad to someone else, when in the bigger picture, our desire is great, our intentions are good. I think if you're already listening to this podcast, you're already on some sort of journey to fulfill your purpose, to express the light of your soul, to be connected to something bigger than you. And yet here comes Kabbalah, which is not just inspiration and consciousness. It's also very practical tools to keep us aligned with that deep desire. Is, what do I really want? Do I really want, you said it before, is it worth it? Do I really want all the light that I'm making the effort to connect through in my actions, in my thoughts, in my prayers, and in everything that I do? Or am I willing to give it up for feeling good for a few minutes, feeling better than someone else? Or even, sometimes people say, well, I need to vent, right? I need to let it out. I need to get it off my chest. Ask yourself, is the getting it off, it's actually a very funny thing. And I don't remember the exact story, but it's like, once you hear something bad about someone else and you find out afterwards it wasn't true, if you're honest, there's still like a residue of you're thinking bad about the other person, even though it was a mistake or miscommunication or it was someone else. It's like hard to remember that you don't think badly about them afterwards. So part of it, I think, is also realizing that those kind of feathers that we let fly out once in a while, oh, that idiot, or that, he did this and this and that, oh, I heard about him, he did. All of that ends up coming back to us to prevent us from experiencing the limitless goodness that we really want.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think I asked myself as you shared, what is the test for all of us? Because part of living in this world is experiencing thoughts of fears, of worries, of insecurities. That's part of the test, which all of this is touching upon that realm of lack. And it will awaken feelings of lack. And as students of Kabbalah, student of spirituality, student of people who wants to really align with our soul purpose, we're trying to fight it and to access the true dimension, the real essence of my soul. And try it, because it makes a big difference. Recognize this waking up with worries, with fears, with insecurities, and then pause and tell yourself, how do I get out of it? So let's use words, two types of words. Words that express appreciation, and try to mean it with your heart and repeat it. The Modeni, the first prayer that we say in the morning, is the appreciation that my soul came back this morning, or any other words that I'm pronouncing, saying, thanking the Creator for blessings in my life. And the goal of repeating it is really connecting to the realm of the true reality that I'm blessed and I'm filled with abundance, because that's what opened the door towards the light. And use words to empower in a positive way other people. And be so mindful about it. By doing that, by really having a conversation with someone on the phone, listening to them, and using your words to empower them without agenda, truly for the sake of sharing, with that intention, then ask yourself, where is my consciousness now? Am I in my lack consciousness or blessed consciousness? You'll realize that actually true appreciation and true empowering other people, and the third thing, through the power of prayer, asking for help and using the ancient technologies, especially the power of the Hebrew letters, the Zohar, other prayers and meditation, you actually ask yourself, where am I? What type of energy am I experiencing now? Because instead of just fighting in your mind the negativity, we all meet ourselves in that moment. And it's not cemented yet. It's just you're bombarded with that feelings of lack. But use words in a positive way will help you to access the true dimension. And then again, we need to do it, because this is a world of tests. We gravitate towards falling back to lack consciousness.
Is there anything that we can do if we do find ourselves speaking negatively about something, someone complaining? Is there anything we can do in the moment? Right? Like what you're talking about is developing a practice of speaking words of gratitude, appreciation.
When we take responsibility and telling the person, I'm taking it back. I don't know for sure. I'm not sure I came from the right place. I was a little reactive. I'm so sorry. Again, doesn't mean it will clear it completely, because the biggest clearance will be if I'm resisting my need to say things early enough. But actually using words to be accountable for my negativity, it's part of the process of cleansing.
It's funny because I think sometimes I'm actually thinking of an example I heard today where, again, one of those little girls said, I'm sorry to be rude, but, and then she was critical of her, telling her friend she doesn't know what she's talking about. Adults do that too. They say, for what it's worth, or I'm just going to speak my truth, and then in a way they're giving themselves permission to stab someone a little bit, even in their presence, right? Like that little girl did. It's like, just because you're apologizing in advance, it's not the same as the taking responsibility for having cemented some lack in the universe. And I think that going back to that visual of, it's all in potential until I speak it. And once I speak it, it becomes concrete. It really becomes something that can potentially become a physical barrier in my way. So I think paying attention to that, and even looking this week at, where do I trip up? Where do those tests show up for me? When do I find it hardest to control myself? Around who? What environments do I get into where I become like that? And finding a way to step back from those environments or those conversations or those situations where you aren't able. Like, that's part of the taking responsibility is, I know that there's certain combinations of energy that help me, it's not really help, that make me weaker in that department. And I'm going to do what I can to keep myself from going there.
Beautiful. So it's interesting. It is connected to the new moon of Taurus, which is this coming Friday night, Saturday, because the new moon of Taurus connects us to the energy of healing. And the most powerful tool to heal other people, and as a result, even to bring healing to the world and to ourselves, is the power of words. But to the degree we appreciate that words have power, potentially tremendous positive power to empower, to heal, to elevate the person from the dimension of lack and negativity and sicknesses to the dimension of wholeness. So, when we truly appreciate the power of words, we'll restrict saying the wrong words, and we'll channel the words in a positive way. But if we misuse words and let the energy channeled in a negative way, when we want to use it for healing, we abuse the energy. We abuse the energy, and suddenly you feel, I'm not making a difference. I'm not creating an impact. I'm not motivating. People are not listening to me. The universe is not listening to me because I misused the energy. I took away a lot of these powerful words and channeled it in a negative way. So now when I have little left over in the battery of words to create healing. So as we're resisting negative words about ourselves, about others, we charging our battery to heal the universe, the planet, others. Words are the most powerful tool for mankind to heal.
That's so true. And I think in this week's episode, we talked a lot about concepts that deserve their own episode. Eitan mentioned the 10 levels, the power of the Hebrew letters, the Zohar, prayer, meditation, very deep concepts. These are all things that we do go in greater depth into in our level 1 courses. We have 2 starting next week. Actually, it's this week. 2 of them starting online called Limitless, one for the US and one for Europe, the UK. We also have level 1 courses starting in all of our physical locations. So if anything that you heard today, or even any episode that you desire to get deeper in, to learn the daily practice of it, to have weekly sessions, not only a lecture, workshop, seminar, but also support from other students, mentors who are more experienced in the wisdom, readings. It's a very holistic approach to help you embrace these teachings into a daily practice. It couldn't be a better time. We'll put the links in the show notes and on weeklyenergyboost.com so that you can find if it's online or a local Kabbalah center for you to take these classes in. Or if you know someone, maybe you're already studying and you want to be able to share with someone who doesn't necessarily live in your city the opportunity, it's a great time. And we'll share that information with you in the description. Eitan, anything else that we can leave us?
Some people might ask, but what about being real with my partner and sharing about my feelings? It is very necessary to be vulnerable at times, to be truthful, to share hurts. But just ask yourself, what's my intention? Is my intention to create healing? Go ahead. Is my intention to grow? Go ahead. Is my intention to get closer? Go ahead. Absolutely. We're not here to suppress feelings and to pretend I'm happy all the time and nothing
or I'm a
bothers
saint
me.
because I don't talk about anybody.
Exactly. So you need to know with whom to talk, what's the intention, And because if you want just to vent, to feel good for a second, that's not desire for healing and for growth.
I think it goes along the lines of in nonviolent communication, the approach is I feel, I was, I. So in the same way, if I do have to talk about something, yeah, someone else might have been the trigger, but I make the effort to talk about my experience and what I'm going through and how I'm feeling versus who did what.
Not just I'm feeling, I'm sharing it because I want to learn from that.
Right.
I'm sharing it because I want to grow. I'm sharing it because I want to get
And I
closer.
know that I don't see the whole picture if I'm keeping it inside
Exactly.
my head.
Exactly.
I love it. This is a great week to do that work. Of course, with the new moon, it's always recommended to spend those 24, actually it's 48 hours, Thursday night to Saturday night this month, to really be the best version of ourselves, not only in the way that we speak, but in everything that we do. The more sharing, the more mindful, the more outside of our comfort zone we can be in those 2 days, the better the month ahead. And I think that's it. Weekly Energy Boost is available on all podcast platforms, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. You can follow us on those platforms to receive more content to support you in living what we talk about in every episode. You can also go to weeklyenergyboost.com to learn more about the things we think are important for our listeners to know about, to look through our archives, to click the message button. And as always, the most powerful thing you can do is to share this episode. Imagine tens of thousands of people being mindful of the way they speak this week. It'll be a revolutionary week for planet Earth. So thanks for all your sharing, and we'll see you next week on the Weekly Energy Boost.